Hey y'all, this is Anouk. I want to share some leadership secrets with you today. I worked in corporate America for 32 years, and through my 32-year career, I learned so much. But one of the key things that I learned is you do not have to work as hard as most people work. So, my friend Dina and I have written a book that will be released very soon, and it's entitled You're Working Too Hard. And we want to help to inspire leaders or those of you who want to be leaders. Or maybe you're not a leader and don't want to be a leader. There's still some practical tips to aid you so that you can get that ultimate balance in your life. So, in this book, we talk about several things that can help you, but I'll give you an example. One example is we talk about you must go slow to go fast. And what do we mean about that? Is that oftentimes when you are in these jobs, you're so focused on delivering whatever your product or your service is. But it is important for you to spend time to do critical things like getting to know your team. So, spending the time, investing the time to get to know them, not just their name, but getting to know their interests, getting to know what they're interested in doing, getting to know them as their whole person. And when you really bond and you spend time to develop and nurture those relationships, people will work harder for you. So don't be so focused on those deliverables and not spend time with investing the right amount of time to get to know your people. Another thing that we talk about in the book is you must always start with the end in mind. What does that mean? It's like you definitely have to know where you need to go. What's the end goal? What's the objective? What is the mission? And so you want to make sure that you have a balanced set of metrics. You have a very simple management system in place to make sure that everybody's on the same page of how you guys are going to come together to collaborate, and that you have a balanced set of metrics so that you can keep a pulse that's data driven on how things are going so that you know when you need to intervene. And that balanced set of metrics need to be, you need to have a people metric, you need to have a customer metric, you need to have a process metric, and a financial metric. So again, that's a people metric, a client metric, a process metric, and also a financial metric. And then just keep your management system, really simple, but making sure that you have these scorecards and that you have data, because you don't want to be making decisions on gut feelings. You want to make decisions based upon data. So, hey, you've taken care of your people, you've created this great rapport with your people, and now you also have a great management system in place. You have scorecards that's data driven. What else do you need to do? Well, you really need to keep things simple and you need to lead with clarity. A lot of times people think that I need all these goals and I need things to sound complicated, but really that's just confusion. You really just need to keep things simple and you need to make sure it's very clear. It reminds me of a time that when I was working in corporate America, I had this one manager. He used to talk all the time and he was very impressive. But a lot of times, after he finished this whole dissertation, the team was still confused on exactly what he wanted us to do. And I also had the opposite experience where I had this lady where she was very clear. She had three goals for us, and everybody in the organization was aligned on those three goals. And basically, it was one big goal. This was the main goal. This was the main thing that we were focused on, and everybody was driving in that direction. However, there was, some small goals that were some milestones to help us to get to that ultimate goal. And we were way more successful because it was simple and everybody was clear. Versus the time where the other guy was maybe more impressive in his conversation and he sounded like very, very smart. However, the team did not have the clarity in knowing what we needed to execute. So I really want to encourage everyone to know that just keep things simple, and you would be amazed at the greater results that you get when you keep things simple. So the reason Dean and I really wanted to write this book is because I'll tell you my story and then I'll touch on Dina's story a little bit. But I started in corporate America um, as an intern in college. And I didn't have anyone in my family that had been in corporate America prior to me. So I didn't have a role model. I didn't have a mentor in my family for this path that I was taking to ask those questions and get those tips that's really needed. And so I got to, corporate America. I did get exposed to some great mentors and sponsors that kind of helped to elevate, my career. I got married and then I ended up getting a divorce and I had a little son that I now had to rear pretty much by myself. And I knew that I needed to work hard to take care of my son. And I knew I needed to spend quality time with my son, but it seemed like I couldn't accomplish both. That if I wanted to spend quality time with my son, it seems like I couldn't advance the corporate ladder. And if I was advancing the corporate ladder, it seems like it was at the sacrifice of that quality time I needed with my son. So it was a very difficult situation. And I remember this one particular year where I was traveling every week from Louisiana to California. I was living in Louisiana at the time. And so my mom had to take care of my son for me. And I didn't know any of his teachers his seventh grade year. And he began to struggle and have some challenges that seventh grade year. And I just feel like it was lack of me being there. And I'll never forget one night I was saying prayers with my son and I was telling him how much I loved him. And he says, "Do you love me more than you love that job?" And that really deflated me. And I never felt lower. And it was amazing because it was at the time that I was actually advancing in the corporate space and I had become an executive. And I knew that there had to be a better way. There had to be a way that me now as a single mom, that I can be a successful single mom and also be very successful in the workplace. So I had to secure people that I felt like I could trust to have conversations with of how I could obtain both. And I began to continuously, make great moves in the corporate space. And I began to also try to mentor and help as many other people as possible. And so I really wanted to put together, tips, strategies that could help other people and to prevent them from having to go through some of the same challenges that I had to go through. And so we have a 90-day coaching program that we'll be offering. We'll have a grouping cohort that will kick off in July. It will last for 90 days. And in this 90-day coaching cohort, we'll go through a lot of great tips, but we'll also have a mastermind of other folks as well that we can kind of feed off and build a community and learn from. We also have a course that we've created that you can take at your own pace. It has some great leadership collateral. And at the same time, we have this book that we're really excited about that's coming out. So many things. My friend Dina, who has been a friend of mine for a very, very long time, and she is one of the sweetest persons that I know. And so I'm really grateful that she's partnering with me on this. And she had some experiences in her life where her husband had some health challenges. And so she had to take over the breadwinner role in her household. And so she had to juggle her husband's health situation. She has two beautiful children and also her corporate career. And so trying to figure out the balance of how to get all of that done. And so Dean and I have, come together, we've coupled to share experiences and to help each other. And now we want to help other people to kind of share the things that we know, things that you may never think about. Like in our book and also in our coaching program, we talk about don't put your clients first. And that may sound strange, but the reason we say don't put your clients first goes back to what I said earlier on. You have to put your employees first. Employee satisfaction is directly proportionate to client satisfaction. So if you spend the time with developing the relationships with your employees, they will work hard and you don't have to worry about those client deliverables because they will exceed the client deliverables. And so that is so very key. So Dean and I've come up with what I call the Thrive method. THRIVE. And so not only is it a method, but each letter of Thrive will help to depict elements of the methodology that we will go through. Like T stands for being tenacious. And so, when you're trying to be a leader, I'm telling you that times will get, tough. But you have to kind of hang in there and remember your whys. And the thing that we talk about too is a lot of times people like to be a leader because of the title, of the position, of the clout. However, don't focus on the position, focus on leading, because when you lead your people and you have that vision, it's so much easier for people to follow and to respect you and for you to also obtain the things that you want to obtain in your career and in your life. So life is short, and so we only get one life and one chance at this. And so we want to make sure that we work together for you to get that balance between work and home so that you can see that you can really have both, that you don't have to choose one over the other, that you can really obtain both. So I actually want to tell you guys of another story. So, one of my clients had some challenges and we were talking through them. And so I started to dispel a lot of the myths of some complications that she thought that was important in order for her to assume that she was a great leader. And so as we went through it and I started to break down and give her some tips of how to simplify, she was like, "Oh my God, you're right. Like, if I just keep this simple, I understand it, I can articulate it, my team can understand it, they know what to do to execute." But she was like, "I thought that I needed to keep things so up here where I could assume a position of authority, assume a position of clout, assume a position of smarts." And she says, "I see that's not necessary." And no, it is not necessary. So I really want us to also understand that in life, no matter what you're doing, there is so much power in relationships. So we also talk about your network is your net worth. And I know a lot of people have heard that phrase before. And I began to talk about, the value of knowing the difference between a mentor and a sponsor. A mentor is someone that will provide you guidance and assistance and almost motivate you and encourage you and be there for you. But a sponsor is the person that can actually make things happen. They are in a position of power, they have influence, And so they take an active role in making things happen for you. But in order for you to have a great relationship, to build a great relationship with mentors and or to obtain sponsors, you have to put points on the board. You have to show them that you are worthy, that you get results, you get things done. So make sure that you're focused on not only meeting but exceeding expectations so that people will be willing to spend the time to aid you. And I'm going to encourage you guys to go after those sponsors. Sometimes it's just a matter of reaching out to the people at the top because it gets lonely at the top. And by you taking that courage, that sets yourself apart. But you definitely need to make sure that you have that resume, you have those skills, you have those accomplishments, the things that you are doing that someone would want to sponsor you. So make sure you're doing that and make sure you're always continuously developing. Never get complacent. Never get complacent. Continuously develop and grow, and you will become an asset. So I'm really focusing in my program for people to get really bold and go after those sponsors. And you have not because you asked not. So I'm encouraging people to have those bold asks because the worst thing that could happen is they say no and they're unwilling to do it. We teach you how to create what we call a relationship map. And in the relationship map, based upon what your short term and long term goals are, that we want you to begin to list out the key resources, the key people that can aid you. Sometimes these people may be internal, sometimes they may be external. And then you assess your relationship strength with them. And so then we'll see where the gaps are and come up with strategies of what you need to do to close those gaps and to build those rapports. Because the relationships, I read somewhere that about 85% of jobs and promotions are based upon, relationships. And I'm shocked that the statistic is not even higher than 85%. I know a lot of the opportunities that I've gotten since I've left corporate America. I retired in corporate America in August of 2023. And so now I've been kind of out fulfilling my, purpose. And so I'm engaged in so many different things and I'm getting so many opportunities based upon divine connections and all those relationships. And I'm really grateful for those relationships. And think about if you spend time to develop and nurture relationships when you need something from someone, if you already have a relationship with them, it makes it so much easier to pick up the phone and give them a call and to talk about what you need and see how they might aid you. But if you don't have a relationship and you know, hey, I need this person, it's kind of really hard for you to think that you're going to hit the home run, you're going to meet them, develop a relationship, and get your request. So making sure that you're being proactive, you have to be deliberate and intentional. So whatever you want in life, whether it's career or outside of your career, it's about being deliberate and intentional. And you can have whatever you want to have. I recall someone who, had started in one of my teams, and they wanted to become this very high level leader. And they said to me, no one in my family has ever done this, so it's probably impossible. And I said, no, it's not impossible. First, you have to believe. And if you believe it, you can do it. And now you just have to come up with your game plan of making sure you plot your plan to get there. And it's about being deliberate and about being intentional, and you have to change that mindset. A lot of our challenges are right here in the mind. So I'm encouraging you guys, I'm challenging you guys to first focus on that mindset. Know that if you are focused and you believe it, you can accomplish it and you can have that. So let's go out and secure whatever we want. Let's not be limited to our environment. Let's not be limited to our limited beliefs. Let's just go do it. So whether you are a leader, currently, or you're aspiring to be a leader, or maybe you don't really want to be in a leadership position, but there are leadership traits that you want to develop because you know that there's a lot of transferable skills that you gain from this. I definitely encourage you to continue to tune in because I'm going to continue to give more tips, and look out for our book. Again, the name of the book will be entitled, or it is entitled, You're Working Too Hard. And that's by Anouk McIntyre and Dina L. Bigham. We also have a 90-day coaching program that will kick off in July and run July, August, and September for 90 days, where you'll have the opportunity to be in a cohort with other like-minded individuals so that we can have like this mastermind, and we will be sharing a lot of tips and strategies. We'll have some guest speakers, and you also get access to a course that we have created that you can work at your own pace as a digital course. We did it in little small segments so that you don't have anything long that you're trying to finish in long modules, but they're very small segments. And some of them may be, just 2 minutes, so that you can kind of have a sense of accomplishments that you are accomplishing little small segments at a time. So we're super excited about all of that. So if there is any questions you guys have, you can definitely hit me up on my social media platforms, or you can send me an email. My email is anouk002@gmail.com. Again, it's anouk002@gmail.com. There's so many things that we have in store, and we're already in May of 2024. This year is just flying by, I tell you. So we really definitely need to make sure that we are being more diligent and more intentional about obtaining the life that we want, and know that you can have both success in corporate and success at home. I am a witness of that. I struggled with that early on. I struggled, and I struggled. And I had to secure advice of mentors to aid me and to give me a path. And then I was able to go figure out how I needed to tweak the information that was given to me so that I can make sure that I can come up with something that really worked for me. And I am super excited that I finally figured it out. And now I really want to make sure that I am helping to serve others with this information. Because my goal now that I've retired from corporate America is to help people to become a better version of themselves. And I do that through my coaching, I do that through my books, I do that through my courses, I do that through motivational speeches, and I also have a radio show that will be starting June 6th on gsslradio.com. It's a national radio station, and I will be giving doses of inspiration and positivity every Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern. And again, that starts June 6th. I am very grateful for all the opportunities that God keep allowing to hit my path. I'm appreciative of all the divine connections. I was talking to someone and they were saying, wow, now that you retired, you seem like you're all over the place. I have so many things going on, and I'm really grateful for each of the opportunities. I'll be the radio host here in June. I am the director of marketing for a seminary here in the Maryland area. I am also doing speaking engagements where I really want to motivate and encourage our youth. I have written 2 books. One of my books came out in January. It is 30 Days to Yes to Me, The Power of No. Be kind, nurturing, optimistic, and worthy to self. You can get this on Amazon. The other book, You're Working Too Hard, Dean and I will be publishing here very, very soon. I also have a company with a few other ladies called Course Crew, and we have some courses that's available. And I have the coaching that I've talked about. But overall, with all the things that I have going on, I really want to make sure that I'm serving people. And I want to make sure that I can keep that balance with, my family and my friends, because making memories with those that's most important is most important. And the key is doing what's important at all times. And that is important. And I have on my board here in my office 4 words that I've had on my board this entire year. And it says clarity, it says grateful, it says focus, and it says grace. So let's talk about clarity. No matter what you're trying to achieve, I pray that God gives you the clarity that you need, because anytime you don't have that clarity and things are fuzzy, it can be really challenging to decipher what you need to do. So I pray that you can get in a quiet place and you can seek God's voice to give you that clarity and that direction. Grateful. Life can be so short and life can give you some roadblocks. But through the midst of it all, we need to be very grateful for every moment, every day, every year, because you just never know when it's your last. And God has been so good that I always say, like a song says, if God doesn't do anything else for me, he's already done enough. And so I am really grateful, 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 grateful. And so when we are being grateful, I do think that you see things from a total different perspective. I know some people used to say, oh, it's Monday morning, I have to go to work. No, you need to say, I get to go to work, because you now have an opportunity to go and serve. And at the end of the day, you get paid for that, where you can then take care of your family and go make memories with all of that. The other thing is focus. Oftentimes it may be hard to say, do I do this? Do I do that? What do I do? Or I got all these things coming at me. But you need to make sure that you're deliberate and intentional and you have a plan so that you can stay focused and that you can stay in alignment. Lastly is grace, is that we all make mistakes. We all don't show up the way that we want to show up at all times. So please give yourself grace and make sure that you're giving others grace as well. And it's just amazing how all things will work together. So just as I have on my board for this year, I'm going to challenge and encourage you to seek God for clarity, work on being more grateful, and also pray for focus, and also give some grace to others and to yourself. So I am about to get ready to sign off. I'm going to do a better job of being more visible to give you some more tips and to share things that I have going on. My goal, again, God has told me that I needed to serve more. So my purpose is to serve others so I can aid them in becoming a better version of themselves. And it's through these talks, it's through other motivational speeches that I do, it's through my books, it's through my coaching program, it's through my courses, and it's going to also be through the work that I do at the seminary and the work that I will be doing at my upcoming radio show. And even though my radio show is focused on inspiration and positivity, I'm going to have some guest speakers to also give my community, give the audience some great information that can aid them in their life so that they can be a better version of themselves as well. And also give an opportunity to spotlight and highlight different companies and businesses, because we need to work together to help each other. So I am so, so very grateful for all the things that continue to come in my pathway. And now I just want to make sure that I'm using this as a ministry to serve, to help, and together we will be better. Together we will be better. So I am super excited, and let's go do it. And again, let's be grateful. Thank you so very much. And please stay tuned. Ask your friends to subscribe to my channel. Follow me. I'm in all of the social media platforms. And let's get more engaged. I know my goal now is to get and stay more visible and to stay more engaged. And I appreciate your help. Please share this if it helped you. And I have more nuggets that will be coming your way. Stay tuned. Signing off.